Welcome to Work the Left Side. We are back. The energy is high, and I am hyper hyped to announce tonight's guest. It is the awesomeness that is Scott Oberman. Sir, are you good?
I am absolutely fantastic. How are you today?
Matey, I am 5x5, too blessed to be stressed, in the words of Tim Strange. Dude, yeah, thank you for coming on. You know, obviously, been watching a lot of your stuff recently, over the last few years, really. And I just kind of wanted to. I'm always kind of like hesitant with people if I haven't really interacted with them much, and I was lucky enough to do a few reels. You acknowledged them, so I was like, "Oh, God, I'll be a cheeky one. I'll ask." And then, yeah, here we are. You said yes.
Here we are, mate.
Sweet. So thank you.
No, it's fine, dude. It's cool to be on. Thanks for having me on as well. I'm pretty open to stuff like this, so I'd be a fool to say no, really, man.
Because any chance I get to talk to, you know, I've done a lot of stuff in the northeast, but then I've also I've spoken to, I've been lucky enough to speak to a lot of guys over from, you know, the northwest as well, because the scene over your way is just crazy. It must just be like, you know, I'm thankful, like I say, I've kind of got to watch a lot of your stuff recently. I've never made it over there, but, you know, thanks to YouTube and stuff and Wrestle Island and Atomic being on the ball when it comes to like YouTube and putting shows on and putting matches on.
Yeah.
You know, even though I don't get over there, I can it's very easy to keep up to track with stuff. And
yeah,
I mean, that's two promotions. I mean, you hold many belts, but you know, you are the top dog at those two promotions as well.
Yeah. Two companies that mean a lot to me as well. And like you were saying, cool thing about wrestling at the minute is it's quite easily accessible. Nowadays, you can pretty much find most matches out there, to be honest, which I remember coming up in wrestling, mate, and like literally it was just like WWE, and then you could find some stuff on the internet, but not all. But now everything's either on a streaming service, it's on YouTube. It's a pretty cool time to live in, man. But yeah, Wrestle Island and Atomic are two places that definitely mean an awful lot to me. Wrestle Island's one of like the first places that like consistently book me, and they stuck me in a storyline pretty early doors, and that was kind of a big thing for me at the time. And then Atomic I owe a ton to. Atomic's been the learning platform for a lot of things I'm doing at the minute. And the thing about Atomic was it kind of all fell into place a little bit there, I'd say, in terms of like the shtick that I'm doing at the minute. Atomic was the place that I failed doing some of the stuff, but also kind of learned the most about the stuff that I'm doing now. So yeah, two companies that really do mean a lot. So to be the head honcho of the both of them is pretty cool.
That's what you sort of said there. You know, you learned through mistakes, by the sound of it, kind of thing. Like I say, you're trying to do this, you're trying to do that. That didn't work, but you know, you learn from it. It's like, right, okay, we'll adapt it, we'll bend it, we'll stretch it, we'll change it till it works.
Yeah, man. That's something that like I'd recommend to like a lot of wrestlers coming through. Is because like I remember I took a break in 2022 and I wanted to do the shtick that I'm doing now, essentially. And I flirted with doing it when I came back after like I was only away for like a month or two. I flirted with doing it and then never really committed to doing it. And then it was a bit crap. And then I kind of fully lent into it and was kind of like, screw it. I'll just kind of mess up if I mess up. And then from there, that's where everything's kind of started working for me, really. And that's where this whole me holding loads of belts at once and getting back onto Progress and all that sort of stuff kind of came from me being able to kind of take a shot and not really be afraid if I took bumps along the way, really. And yeah, I'd recommend that to all wrestlers coming through. It's really important. Really, really important.
It's important to, as you sort of said, though, it's important to have those promotions behind you that, you know, just going to drop you if you mess up, kind of thing. You can take that risk, you can gamble. Because you sort of said, you know, you kind of lent into it a little bit, but probably not 100%. Your heart wasn't in it. And then it was like, right, okay, now I've got to commit 100%, commit to it. Right, okay, now it's worked.
Yep. And like you said there, because they were companies that would still give me a shot after the fact as well, you do kind of have that security blanket. So like I said, it's companies like that I do owe an awful lot to. And I think over time you can kind of see me blossom in both of them. Because I remember Wrestle Island was one of the ones where I was trying it somewhat, but not really fully trying it. and it wasn't coming out very well. And then like my peers and stuff would be like, "What are you doing?" And I'd be like, I don't really know myself. I don't know how to really go for it. Yeah, exactly. So then when I did kind of fully commit to it, that's where everything kind of started falling into place a little bit. Future Shock was another place that really allowed me to kind of screw up a bit with it, and then kind of learn. And Bailey, Sam Bailey was really, really good for it as well because he used to do it in training. And he really, really, really helped me because I think when I was trying to do what I was trying to do, a lot of people, without really understanding it, were a bit at first instead of kind of putting their arm around me. And I think that's something that Bailey did very well, was he did kind of put his arm around me and kind of keep pushing me to do it. So I can't not give him credit for it as well because he helped me out massively, to be honest.
We love Bailey on this show.
Yeah, he's class as well.
But again, I've spoken to numerous people, from Future Shock, and it's always, Sam Bailey is just amazing. Again, he won't thank you for saying it. I know he doesn't take compliments, but yeah, the dude's a boss. He's just so good, and so many people have learned so much just by being around him. So
he's really, really good. Class wrestler as well. I like one of my favorite matches of this year against him at Atomic. That was really, really fun. It was a bad guy match, and I usually hate doing them as well because they're always a bit awkward to do. But testament to him, I guess, because I was really happy with it. So yeah, one of the best in the Northwest. One of the pillars in the background.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, kind of sort of say, I think not so much now, but maybe a year or so ago when we was talking about him, very kind of underappreciated, doesn't get get mentioned enough or acknowledged enough. And I think thanks to places like Atomic and stuff, and obviously Future Shock, the year Future Shock had last year it was next level. So I think everybody now knows and appreciates and acknowledges the awesomeness that is Sam Bailey. So
yeah, man. Yeah, definitely one of the best in the Northwest. And I just think the thing with Sam as well is he's just consistently really good. Yeah. He's probably someone like at Atomic as well that probably doesn't get enough credit for how good he's been there because he's just consistent, and he's consistent in all places as well. So fair play to him.
That's it, dude. But enough of the love for Bailey. Dude, this is the Oberman show. Obviously, I've been watching your stuff a lot recently, to make that the intro reel. If you watch the start of the episode when it gets uploaded, I used it to hype it as well, kind of thing. But I mean, one of my favorite matches this year was a 30-minute match between yourself and Tony Wright. That was at Atomic, I believe. And dude, like I said, it was about 30 odd minutes as well, but it just flew by. You and Tony it's obviously not the first time you've met. You guys have got awesome chemistry, but this one match was just kind of it felt like the finale. It felt like, the final. Hopefully it's not you guys meet again, but if you guys never had another match and you just ended on that match, mate, that was just the finale.
Yeah. I've said to Tony a few times, I think me and him we're probably bound to, whilst at least we're doing independent wrestling, we're probably bound to wrestle each other for as long as we live in it, really. And I think because he's such a natural good guy and I'm such a natural bad guy, I think we kind of bounce off each other pretty well because I think what makes it good is the fact that we're very similar but also very different. But because we've got the similarities character-wise, we bounce off each other pretty well. But yeah, that one at Atomic especially, that was probably my favorite one we've had together. It was just one of those where it felt like everything clicked. And I remember we had Future Shock the week after, and I'd probably say that was a better moment, but I'd definitely say the Atomic match, out of all the ones that we've had, that was the best one. And we've literally just had another two this past couple of weekends. So it literally is never ending, mate.
Yeah, so as soon as I said that, if that was your last ever match, I was like, I know it's not your last match. I don't know what I'm saying. I've just kind of fantasized this kind of scenario. Because obviously, you guys you've challenged him for the Adrenaline title.
Yeah, and he beat me. I got screwed.
Yeah. Dude, shocking behaviour. But yeah, that Atomic match, there was that spot where you guys just kept bumping into each other, doing the cross bodies. It was mate, it was unreal. If anybody hasn't seen it, it is on. We mentioned YouTube earlier. Just go watch it. It's just the reels in the Work the Left Side Instagram page. There's a link, I think, in there somewhere. to the clip, to the full match, just go watch it. Give yourself a treat. But we'll get off Atomic at some point. But I do want to acknowledge it as well, because I think one of the first things I've always appreciated, but seeing the stuff he was doing with Teddy Reay, the promos before your match, I was just like, dude, this guy's just leveled up. These promos are unreal, and that is so important now because of the whole YouTube thing, because of the streaming sites. You guys have got to be able to cut promos. You guys have got to be able to get that character over and make those promos leading up to that match.
Thank you, fella. Promos are an important thing. I've definitely hit the 40 mark with Ant, but I think I filmed about 41 promos with Ant this year, and we're literally only doing it just because we think it's funny to keep track of it. But then somehow, it's actually kind of become a bit of a thing now. But yeah, it's an important thing, and also as well, it's content as well, and it's a very content-heavy wrestling world, really. So you kind of gotta keep churning stuff out, really. And yeah, me and Teddy, I'd probably say he's my favorite opponent out of everyone. Just because we do bounce off each other pretty well. So yeah, I'm quite excited to wrap things up with him, ironically, in a few weeks as well at Atomic.
10th of December.
Yeah, December 10th.
Yeah.
Just like I've just wrapped up with Tony, I think I'll be wrapping up with him pretty soon as well. So yeah, two of my favorite opponents, and I've been quite blessed to work with both of them, to be honest. They're both very talented guys, very, very talented guys. So I think we'll be filming a little few bits for that one as well. I think I'm going to drag Ant the editor out of his house for the 42nd time or whatever it is this year.
Dude, no, but knock it up to 50. Get it up to a decent 50.
You know what? I don't know why we thought the goal would be to get to 40, but we're kind of creeping in on 50 now, so we might as well try in for that, mightn't we?
Exactly. You got to get there.
50 is the magic number, really, isn't it?
That's it. It's once you hit that mark, you keep that was a good year, it was a productive year. There's plenty to learn from, plenty to watch back, and just be like I said, you've got to get that content out there, because it's that kind of a business now, isn't it? Where you want to get people's attention, get the eyes, the views. It's crazy. Like I say, it's just such an important part. Now, compared to 10 years ago, you could just get in the ring, do your thing, get out. Nothing else to worry about, really. But it's just the evolution of it, I guess. Obviously,
you got to move with the times.
That's the badger. So I reached out to Teddy. I'm hoping I'll get to speak to Teddy at some point. He says he's up for it. I just know he's a busy man. I think he's been in Australia recently or something, hasn't he?
Yeah. So he's been all over the gaff, to be fair to him. Make hay when the sun shines, isn't it? So good on him going all the way to Australia. But he'd be a good dude to have on as well.
Yeah, I'll reach out again, hopefully, and see if he's up for it. But so we got that. I mentioned, after we said we've got that on the 10th of December. We'll rewind a few days. Obviously, you were a last-minute replacement for Mr. Ridgway at Progress on Sunday, but you turned up, you smashed it. How was it?
It was actually Drew that was the replacement.
Oh, it was Drew.
I was actually announced. Yeah.
The way my mate worded it, I was like, I'm sure that's not true, but I always second guess myself. I was like, I must have been wrong. My mate sort of said, Ridgway didn't turn, so I got to see Oberman. I was like, I thought Oberman was meant to be there, but so I did. I should have known better. I saw the graphics, I know I did, but so obviously, yourself versus Drew Parker at Progress. Obviously, you versus Ridgway would have been, you guys have met before. You know each other very, very well. But you and Parker are no stranger either. You back in the day, I think Drew Parker squared off against a certain Seth Skyline a few times.
Yeah, he did actually. The wrestling Drew Progress was kind of cool, and Progress has been the thing that anyone who knows me, outside of wrestling, that's the thing I've been aspiring for, really. So to get back onto Progress was pretty cool, to be honest. And that's kind of been a big goal to get back on, because I think the first time I did it, I don't think I really did myself much justice. So to get another shot and then kind of walk away from it a lot happier than I did the first time was quite nice. But then to do it against Drew was kind of cool as well, because I knew him from the old BWP camps where you're wrestling for free in the rings, in the middle of like some random carnival, and the kids are horrible. And then sometimes there's no one there at all. I remember doing those carnival shows, dude. I literally wrestled in front of no one. You know, like you always hear those horror stories. Well, I did it for orange juice in front of 5 people. I did it for nothing in front of no one. I got nothing out of it. Like an entire crowd of 0. I had like an entire like 15-minute match in front of absolutely nobody. So to do it with Drew, especially with like how far like he smashed it, like he's like taken over the world and done all sorts, and good on him as well. But to do Progress, which obviously has been the bar for quite a long time with him, was kind of cool, to be honest.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome. Can't even imagine. I can only presume in that situation, you know, back in the day, you two just look at each other and be like, "We'll just get our licks in. It's just, you know, a practice lap. We'll just do what we, you know, it's just a training session kind of thing." Or do you go full hog in case somebody does come along and sit down? Right.
I think my mentality always been kind of just going all in for it, really. I'm not really one to kind of put the brakes on, really. Like, even with like the promo stuff, dude, like, wrestling's kind of like all consuming, especially like my schedule this year. Like, this is it definitely is. Even like when I was doing the camps, this is like the busiest I've ever been. I think I'm on like 60 matches this year or something like that. I've still got a pretty decent schedule coming up as well. So that's pretty much been like every weekend, dude. Like doing doubles or, well, at least doubles, really. So it's been a good year, like.
That is the biggest sign that you can get that you're doing something right. You know, the fact that you are that busy. I mean, obviously, I kind of rely on Cage Match to look back over what people have been doing, because I get to see stuff on YouTube. I don't get to see everything. You know, it's just there's that much stuff out there, like we sort of say. It's just so yeah. On Cage, I remember looking like, you know, looking at page 1, and yeah, like so say just like 6. You literally just the first page was pretty much this year, and I was like, Jesus, wept. You know, the dude's just been absolutely tearing it up. All the names, like I say, you know, Tony Wright, you and Tom Thelwell have been doing battles at TNT most recently.
Done a couple.
Yeah, well, I think it was like, I don't know if it was like 1-on-1 or something, but you had that kind of the no DQ match at TNT recently, which you won. I don't know if that was like the 3rd in the series and you walked away with the victory kind of thing. But there was that. You've had coffin matches with Tomby, you know, in Coventry. And then later on that night went on to win the title. Everywhere, mate. It's crazy.
Yeah, man, it's been busy. Like, especially as well, because I'm kind of one of like the people that get booked to do angles and stuff as well. So that's like not even taking into account shows where I've just done a promo or run in and kick someone in the balls. You know what I mean? But that's kind of the blessing of kind of having a character, is that I can also get booked to do that sort of stuff as well, which is quite nice because it kind of breaks it up a little bit.
That's it, because it's being able to make that impact without having to working smart as opposed to like working hard, in the sense of you can turn up, cut a promo, and you can get yourself over just as much as, you know, doing a 15-20 minute match, because you've made the impact. You've left people walk away being like, oh shit, yeah, Scott. You know, when Scott turned up and said that, oh dude, you know, somebody's
again, that's kind of the blessing of being comfortable with having a character and then also doing a promo, is I can't kind of just get booked to do that sort of stuff, which is it's quite nice. It's quite nice.
Dude. Talking of bookings as well, though, obviously anybody who knows me knows of my love for Planet Wrestle. We'll always try and hype them up. You know, anybody that's on that show, every show that they do. And yeah, you are there this weekend. You're going to be in Bradford at the Bulls location, and going against the scary man that is. Oh, I say the scary man, but you know what I mean. I don't know who's sort of scary. You've kind of got that edge to you, and then you've got Isaac North. So yeah, this is an interesting. I've not seen this match much in the history when I was looking through, you know, your previous battles.
I don't think I've ever had a singles with Isaac. I don't think I've even like in training. I don't think I've really had like a training match with him or anything like that when I used to train at Infinite. So yeah, it'll be a fun one, to be honest. It's kind of funny the way that like this weekend I'm wrestling both of Temple of Malum in different singles matches.
Yeah, because you got Rod Drake Infinite, aren't you? Then after.
So that'll be fun as well. They're 2 pretty fun singles matches, and the 2 first time singles matches as well. So excited for both of them, to be honest. Wrestling at Planet's going to be really cool. I know a few people who've wrestled there. They all say nice things about it. I get to do a bit of a goth versus emo match, which is always very fun.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I'm always going to go. I'm just checking my wife's got headphones in and she's listening to music. Yeah, we're fine. I was always going to go to the emo side over the goth.
Man. That's me. So I'll try and get that win for you, mate, because I think he's definitely more goth and I'm definitely more emo.
Yeah. Oh, no shit, she heard me. She's looking at me.
Yeah.
Sat there with a goth boy hat on, representing Joe Wade. I'm looking forward to sort of seeing that match. If I can get over, that'd be amazing. If not, I'll find a way to watch it when it gets on YouTube. Like I say, Rob Drake on the Saturday as well. So it's gonna, I think you'll be. I don't know how, mate. I would, if you've got a 9 to 5, I would probably consider booking Monday off because you're just gonna be very, very chilled. Just like
I'm very used to it, mate. But yeah, it is. There's nothing like doing the old 9 to 5 graft and then you've had a show the day before. Yeah, definitely add to the schedule, mate. I've went into work loads of times, just absolutely like on a different planet, or limping, or crumpled up. It definitely adds to the enjoyment of it all.
Dude, right? Generic questions out there. We're talking about the 9 to 5 side of stuff, so let's pull it back to the wrestling. I want to sort of figure out, because I mentioned the name Seth Skyline earlier, looking through like all the history and stuff. You've been around for longer than I think most than people sort of realize. Maybe with the name change and stuff like that, and just obviously just embracing the character over the last few years and just hitting everything out of the park. But yeah, what made you decide to do the wrestling thing? I've had so many different answers to this question. I'm always interested in sort of what was it that made somebody be like, right, sod it, let's do it. Let's walk through the doors. Let's get to training. Let's see if I can do it.
Yeah, man. So, like, is the earliest conception for me of wrestling. I thought it was like the stupidest thing ever. So the only thing I'd ever heard about wrestling was it was just like cavemen in the bills, like beating each other up and just like yelling really loud. I didn't get the appeal at all. But then I had friends in primary school who were like massive into it, like absolutely crazy about it. And then one day, I used to go to one of my friends' nan's house. We all used to hang around there and go on YouTube and just watch like absolute nonsense, really. And yeah, one day they were watching wrestling clips, and I seen Jeff Hardy jumping off mad stuff, and that was like the first initial like light bulb was like, oh, that's pretty cool. I was like, that can't be, because like it already been instilled in me that it was like fake and it was a load of baloney. How could anyone like that? And I remember watching that the Jeff Hardy stuff and go like, this is the coolest stuff ever.
Yeah.
But the twist on it was that because I was still being a bit weirdly snobby about it, because I was like, I don't know, like a 10-year-old kid, 11-year-old kid, or whatever it was. I was like, yeah, the only clips he showed me was like hardcore stuff. So I convinced myself that hardcore wrestling was shoot wrestling. And I for some reason, I'd allowed myself to watch that. So I used to go around to his like nan's house and then just watch loads of hardcore Jeff Hardy moments. So like literally all I used to watch, like my earliest bit of wrestling was like the hardcore title matches, which is random. And then I went to my friend's house again. We played SmackDown versus Raw. Seen someone get thrown off a Hell in a Cell. I was like, wow, this is the coolest thing ever. And then from there, I remember it was on Sky One. Randomly, WWE Superstars, watched that, was hooked, and then pretty much instantly, within like a few weeks of watching it pretty much religiously, as soon as I watched the first episode, I looked into training pretty much straight away. So I remember initially I tried to start at All Star, but the weekend I went, they were running the camps and training was cancelled, so I didn't end up going. I just kind of figured that the entire thing was short. And then I found a place in Runcorn. So we from watching wrestling to then getting in, it was pretty quick, to be honest, mate. It was like really, really quick for a turnaround. Because I've always kind of had that mentality. If I like something, I'll go for it. That's why I've like had like 20 different hobbies. So yeah, it was pretty much the same with the wrestling, but the wrestling's the only one that's ever properly stuck, really.
Dude, that's awesome. So that's the thing, because obviously, like you said, we've mentioned, so when you started getting into it, you've kind of got this whole, you get into it on the back of like the Jeff Hardy stuff, like you sort of said, the hardcore sort of just the
Mhm.
really intense, hard hitting, sort of stiff matches, moments.
Mhm.
Did you kind of? I mentioned Seth Skyline. That was obviously you for a while when you started wrestling. Did you kind of go into it with an idea of what kind of a character you wanted to be, or did you kind of was it just going in like
Yeah, I did actually. So when I started, my initial gimmick that I got forced to use for like the opening two shows I did was I was a model. Um, which I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. I just wanted to be on the shows. I definitely wasn't ready to be on the shows either. I definitely wasn't ready. And then after that, because I've got a weird voice, they made me do an American gimmick. Um, so I did an American shtick for a bit, but this is gonna sound stupid, but like the shtick that I wanted to do back then when I started was literally the shtick that I'm doing right now. So I've had this idea for absolutely ages, mate. It's just like I don't know, like the last 2 years that I actually gave it a crack. And yeah, weirdly, that's when my best stuff in wrestling started coming out. So I've had this idea for yonks, mate. Absolutely yonks. Not necessarily like the music and stuff, and the entrance and all that sort of stuff, but the way I portray myself and the character side of things with all the promos and like the instability of the character, and you can be like dead angry and moody 1 minute and then kind of be a bit silly the next and a bit blasé. That's stuff that I've wanted to do since I was literally about like 15, 16 years old. I just didn't. But like the initial environment I came up in wrestling was quite judgmental, I guess. Like where I started in Runcorn, so I never even like in my wildest imagination was like I'll give this a go. Because it was you were kind of judged a little bit, so I never really gave it a shot. Then when you're getting like your first bookings outside of like where you train, you kind of feel quite impressionable, I guess. So I didn't try it then either, and then it just kind of kept dragging on and dragging on and dragging on and dragging on until the past couple of years I actually gave it a shot. Really,
I suppose it's having the confidence in yourself where you can, like you sort of said it, we mentioned it before, having that stability of a few promotions where you like, what, I can try it now. I know these
yeah,
guys, won't just drop me because that's always got, because then, you guys rely on bookings. If you mess up somewhere, you're going to be like, oh shit, they're never going to book me again. I can't, risk it maybe kind of thing. But
yeah,
yeah, you've got somewhere like Atomic, you've got somewhere like Ireland. You're like, what, I can just risk it. Let's
yeah,
just see what
yeah,
happens. What's the worst? They're not going to book me. We'll
yeah.
just change it next time round. It's fine. But
But then
that, yeah,
also as well, I think kind of having that mentality as well, where even like whatever happens, even if I was to get dropped or whatever, like who cares? At least I'm doing what I want to do, and that's kind of the thing that kind of made me just go, ah, screw it. So that was kind of the thing that kind of made me just go, screw it. Whatever happens, happens. And then I remember I felt a little alienated for like a few weeks, where I don't know, I'd probably made up in my head that everyone was kind of giving an opinion on it, but then after that, suddenly it starts going well, and then the opinion that you can at least hear is a good one, pretty much. So
yeah.
since then, yeah, I do wish that's kind of like a bit of a regret that I do have is that I didn't do this shtick like yonks ago because I wanted to for absolutely ages, but I was just kind of finding I guess kind of like the blasé enough mentality to kind of go, well, screw it, what happens, happens. You know what I mean?
Maybe it wouldn't have worked if you'd done it sooner. Maybe it wouldn't have been. Like you said, it's just been building up for that long. Like when you did
Yeah,
finally just do it and embrace it,
yeah,
it's even more sort of like genuine. It's even more just like, yeah, you like say you've got that blasé kind of. That's the thing, I love watching your matches. I love that bit where you jump on somebody's back and you just land on the top rope and you just kind of flop over and you're just looking
yeah,
at
man.
the audience. And again, it's in the intro. I used it just to end the clip. And you just like it was that infamous. And you
Yeah,
just kind of bounce it. You just kind of just look at the audience and put your thumbs up. And I was like, mate, that is gold. Just
yeah,
those little moments. And there was a bit of it, Tommy, where you've done something and you just kind of sat in the corner, you're looking out at the audience, you're like, hmm, hmm. Like you're just gauging their reaction, but it's just like it's nothing. It's just like water off a duck's back. It's just like,
Yeah, man. And like you said, maybe I do kind of believe that everything happens for a reason, and maybe me kind of get into like a blase state to an extent, legit outside of wrestling as well, and kind of going screw whatever happens now. Maybe that's kind of what's kind of made it work to the extent that it's working right now. So maybe you're all right, mate. But yeah, um, that's definitely like a little lesson for everyone in wrestling. Is just kind of just go for it. Whatever happens. And even if you
You've
do
got
fail, good. That's kind of the point.
learn from your experiences.
Absolutely.
To quote Thomas Rain, "Why do we fall down? To learn to pick ourselves back up again."
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Nail on the head.
So obviously I mentioned Infamous there as well. It's another promotion that I love, and I think everybody should watch more and more Infamous. And yeah, again, I've seen you there a few times. Obviously the match I'm referring to with the top rope was yourself against Max Brooker for the OTP title.
Mm.
That was
Yeah,
great. An
he
awesome
kind of
match.
killed my title winning streak. I was like on a mad streak of winning belts, and then that silly Tony Wright stopped me from getting across the line.
Oh, it was Max Brooker on that one, wasn't it?
Yeah, Tony Wright stopped. Yeah, it was me and Max, but Tony cost me.
Oh, of course he
He's
did. Of course
yeah,
he came out, did he? Just
yeah,
distracted you, and then
he's vindictive, mate.
dude. It's again Tony Wright. He's just that guy.
He's an evil man.
The
He's a very
nemesis.
evil man.
The nemesis.
Yeah.
But obviously, again, rewinding back a little bit, when you first started, you had the whole tag team with Dan Evans. Obviously, everybody thinks of you now as kind of like this singles guy. Scott Oberman, like I say, belt collecting and stuff. But for a long time, you was smashing it in the tag team scene with Dan.
Yeah, man. I did that for a pretty decent chunk of my career. I think from maybe 2019 up until about 2023, 4, somewhere around there. So it was a pretty decent chunk of my career. But yeah, some of the stuff I did with him was really, really good work, to be honest. We had some really strong matches. And a lot of times it was matches that like people never really saw. Like I remember I remember at Coventry, we had like probably one of the best tag matches I ever had against two of like the Coventry lads. And the match was like boss, like probably like top 10 favorite matches I've ever had. And no one will ever saw it. Well, that's kind of like the stuff that we did. Because like again, we wrestled in Scandinavia quite a lot as well. Won like 2 or 3 belts over there, maybe. I'm not sure. But we won a couple anyways. But like I said, in terms of like eyes on it, there's probably not tons of people that actually seen a lot of the stuff that we did together. But in terms of like the really, really top stuff. But yeah, that was an important chapter in my career. And yeah, man, it was a lot of really fun work.
It's just I mentioned it because obviously sort of said you making that the Jeff Hardy kind of influence from sort of the early days. And I'm just a massive mark for tag team wrestling. If I can get to talk about tag team wrestling even just for a few minutes, I'm like, yes, let's talk tag team wrestling. I love tag team wrestling.
Yeah.
And seeing obviously you and Dan again, you guys have had your battles against each other, but as a team, I was looking through the matches and like I said, you've won titles as a team, taking on some like really good opponents, and it was just like, yeah, man, it's just. But yeah, the name was never a name that I was aware of until I started backtracking on stuff. And I was like, oh shit, man, I need to go out and find more of these matches to watch now.
Yeah, man. Like I said, important chapter on my career. And yeah, tag team wrestling in general is really, really, really fun. I really enjoyed playing around with the dynamics of all the fun stuff that you could get up to really with it in terms of like the legalities and stuff. So yeah, tag team wrestling was a blast whilst I was doing it. But I do enjoy the single stuff as well.
That's it. Now you found your mark. Now you found this character. Like I said, I don't think it will work. I don't. I can't imagine you just being this blasé and a tag team partner just putting up with it. Just like, oh, mate, that's it. I can't have this guy as my tag team partner. It's just no, it's not happening. But at Progress, I've got to address the "you're not a real Scouser" chant.
Yeah, that's actually completely false. I'm a very genuine Scouser. The funny thing is, out of all the Scouse wrestlers, I'm probably like the Scousest out of all of them. Because like my entire life, like one way you can tell a Scouser is the color of the bin. and I've had a purple bin my entire life. So in terms of that category, I know there's some Scouse wrestlers who definitely don't have purple bins. So I'm probably like the most credible Scouser, but like I don't sound like one in the slightest.
Right. I think the measuring bar's got to be: are you more Scouse than Lizzy Evo?
Well, the thing is, I don't think Lizzy Evo had a purple bin.
There
So,
you go.
but
More
like
Scouse.
voice wise, like she definitely takes the cake over me in that category. But yeah, my first house was in Anfield when I was growing up, which again, like is like as Scouse as you can be. And then I moved to like a middle classish area, like a quite like a nice boy area, but still had a purple bin. And I don't know. I don't know how I didn't end up with a Scouse voice because my brother sounds Scouse. My dad does a little bit, I guess, but my mum doesn't really. But yeah, like my brother definitely sounds Scouse. All my friends were super Scouse, and I've just somehow completely it's completely slipped over my brain, and I've ended up with this really weird. I remember when I used to work in the hospital for a little bit, and you just kind of like meeting randomers all the time. I always used to get asked if I was Australian, Irish, or American. So I don't know how I've wound up with this voice, despite where I've lived my entire life. So yeah, whatever.
Dude, that's the right mixture. It's like, right, well, you're not from Liverpool. You're obviously from America, Australia, or Ireland.
Yeah, it could be any of the three, mate. I used to get a different question each time, but yeah, whatever. I kind of just embrace it in the gimmick now, and just kind of use it for like emo purposes that I don't even fit into my own home.
Oh, mate, that's devastating. I
I
know.
know,
I'm not even.
I know. Get the sad music on.
Just let's go.
That's it, mate. That's it.
So yeah, just to clarify though, for all Progress fans, genuine Scouse. My boy was telling me because it was my mate Ash who runs the Instagram account for What the Left Side. He was one who went to Progress and dropped me right in it with that sort of he's replaced Drew Parker thing.
Yeah.
But he's a Liverpool fan, so he's probably stitching me up because you're a toffee.
Ooh, that's a bad choice. That's the fake. That's the fake Scousers, mate.
So I'll have to ask him. I'll be like, did you ever have a purple beard? He'll be like, no. I'll be like, that's why you support Liverpool then.
Yeah, that's it, mate. That's it. All the Everton fans have the purple ones.
You must love it at freaking Ireland then with Peter and Sean Only and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. He's a blue as well, isn't he? There's a few of them. There's a few of them. A lot of them don't admit it though, because we've been crap for like so long, and these look at absolute look at pelters.
You guys have picked up this season, aren't you?
Yeah, we're a little bit better.
Yeah.
I still think we're a bit off it. Like, I think the worrying thing for us is we've not really had a full 90 where we've actually looked good. We have like little patches. But I think we'll finish about 12th this season, which, considering where we've been the past 3-4 years, it's way better, mate. It's way better. Yeah. But like, I'll never forget the Everton that I grew up on, mate, because when I was growing up, and this isn't even like good times considering what Everton have like won in the past and stuff. Like every year we were like in Europe. It's like to see us like being in relegation fights, mate. It's been a disaster.
Is Tim Cahill still a national treasure?
Oh, mate, he is. He was my favourite player as a kid. Yes. Him and Arteta. I'll never forget, mate. I was at a random Europa League game or something like that with my dad. And I remember like the entire stadium went silent, and we were quite close to the pitch. And Cahill runs past, and it must have been about like 6 or 7. I was like, Cahill, I know you can score. And I remember like all these like owl fellas like taking the mick out of me, like kind of laughing along with me. And about 10 seconds later, he scored, and that stuck with me for my life. So ever since, he's my favourite player, and he always will be.
Yes, love Tim Cahill. I remember doing back in the day. I used to play Football Manager or Championship Manager, whichever incarnation it was. And I remember starting. Obviously, started with the league, and then I got offered. I went for I got offered the Australian manager job for some reason, internationals. I was like, you know what, I'm going to take it. So I just want to use Tim Cahill. I want to take Tim Cahill.
He was great in real life, and I imagine he was great on the game as well because his heading was amazing.
Exactly. Tim Cahill, Howie Kuehl, those guys won the World Cup with Australia. I was like, yes, they're my MVPs.
I bet it was a better playing experience. Have you played the new one, 26?
I ain't played it for about 5 or 6 years. I can't play it anymore. I go down that loophole. But I've got a family now. I used to play it when I was kind of like, I lost days on it. I shit you
Yeah,
not.
it's bad, isn't it, mate? It is. It's one of those games, mate, where like I do have to kind of pace myself a bit on it because it does. It sucks your entire life away. That and FIFA are terrible for me, mate.
Yeah. I play games now that I can pick up and put down like an hour later. So I'm just like, walk away. Just walk away from it. But yeah, I do love it. I do miss those kind of days where you just take some random team and just kind of like try and do something with them.
Oh, mate, I had a Crew Alexandra save. I don't think I won a single trophy, but I got them into the Champions League from like League One. And like I got like 16 seasons deep, mate. And I think the closest we ever got, we finished second. But oh, mate, I remember I got so into bloody like Crew Alexandra. I was always looking at the results.
You know, it's bad when you don't know any of the players' names because they've all retired. You know, all the players.
Oh, mate, I had these like European wonder kids in the side. I still couldn't bloody win a thing. I got to like the FA Cup final like 5 times. Never won a single thing. I got to the Champions League semi-finals as well. But yeah, that's it. It's poison, that game, mate. It really is.
And I'll always know the name Freddie Adu thanks to Football Manager.
Yeah, man. There's a lot of people that you unearth, and you just become legends in your mind.
Yeah, that's it. Then when you see me in real life, like, oh, you're shit. I should have just got it. Like, oh man, Turner Samba was amazing.
There's nothing like it though when you find someone and then they actually end up becoming good in real life, and you tell all your mates, "I found him in Footy Manager," as if you're the person that's unearthed this gem.
I found him. I made it possible. I put it into the universe. It's in the universe. It manifested.
Exactly, mate. That's it.
Dude, but yes, obviously, we're talking. So I'll pull it back to the wrestling now. But yeah, so this weekend, Infinite, and then we've got Planet, and then you've got Atomic on the 10th of December. Pretty much wrapping up. I'm sure you probably got a few of the ones that I don't know about lined up as well. But oh shit, no, of course I know you've got another one. You've got Tidal Wrestling in Huddersfield in December as well.
Team Krampus versus Team Santa.
Yeah, Team Krampus. So it's you and NRD in it, and a mystery partner.
Yeah, it is indeed. I won't lie, I didn't know what Krampus was. I had to ask my girlfriend what it was, and I had to ask people in work what it was because I didn't have a clue. It went completely over my head. But then I understood what Krampus was and realised I am the perfect candidate for this team. There's the one thing I hate is Christmas, so I'm glad that I finally get to put the nail in the coffin that is Christmas.
Nice. Come out with some Grinch inspired gear.
That's it, mate. That's it. I do understand the Grinch because I grew up on that. But it's time to put an end to Christmas, mate. So this is the final one.
Dusted. Obviously, teaming with NRG as well. Again, love Mo, love Hamza, amazing guys. You'll probably obviously cross their paths when you're at Planet this weekend. Don't know if you know him outside of obviously prior to Planet this weekend, but yeah, you're kind of 2 encounters within the space of a few weeks.
Yeah, man, I'll get to bump into them. I've only seen them a couple times, but they're really good. I've seen them a few shop training once, and I went, bloody hell, these guys are good. So I think they'll do all right for themselves.
I'm interested to see how yourself and NRG work. Obviously, depending on whoever the mystery partner is, but yeah, man, just kind of like anytime NRG, normally the face everywhere. I've only ever seen him like play heel at True Grit, so it'll be interesting to sort of see how you guys all sort of very different. But I can kind of see that being a good opposites attract and work well together situation.
That's it, mate. And we're going to put an end to Christmas together. So
against what I'm trying to think who else is in the match. I don't only pay too much attention, but I think it's Inserico and Wing Commander Nash and Ian Skinner. Memory serves me right. I want to say, yeah. So yourself against Skinner, man. That's going to be an interesting. I've seen you two. That's a series of matches I would like to see.
That's the definition of opposites attract again.
Yeah.
Because he very much is his gimmick as well.
Yeah.
That'll be fun to work with. That'll be fun to work with Ian. It'll be very fun because I think the characters will bounce off each other very, very well. Because he's the exact opposite of what I am. So,
dude, I think just thinking, if it ever happens going forward, like I said, the promos you two guys could cut, it would, like
I know.
be,
I know. I think we definitely have some fun with it. So yeah, I do hope we do get to run a little bit of a program together, just because I do think we bounce off each other very well. So yeah, fingers crossed for that.
Again, put it out there, put it into the universe.
Manifesting.
Anybody sort of sees this or wants to book that would be awesome. But yeah, so yeah, we've got that. Anything else that's coming up that I don't know about? So obviously in December, we've mentioned Atomic, we've mentioned Tidal. Anything else that's been announced that I've missed that you know of?
Yeah, so there's something that's not been announced yet, but it should be getting announced soon for next week. I might have some stuff internationally at the end of the year, which will be fun. So that'll be fun. I've got other bits and bobs coming up. I've got more work for Infinite. Dependent on how Future Shock handle my case, because I got screwed at the last one. I might be back there too. I've got a fair few shows before the year wraps up, to be honest.
I thought you might.
Yes, it's nice to be busy, but there's bits that still need to be announced. There's a couple bits that are pending announcement.
Say no more. Say no more. I will get them shared when I find out what the crack is and what's going on. But dude, like I say, you're just busy. The international stuff, that sounds awesome as well, because that's obviously, it's great to be smashing it here, in the north west. Those like coming over to Yorkshire, smashing it in Yorkshire, smashing it everywhere else, Coventry. But and obviously, like a lot of people want to kind of spread their wings, and kind of venture about. It kind of means something when somebody takes that chance on you and being like, look, we'll fly you out, come here. We want to put you on our show. So you mentioned it earlier with the Scandinavian stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, to be honest, it's boss wrestling internationally. And the thing as well is, not to say the crowds here are great, like they're really, really, really good. But over there, man, the crowds are really cool because they're not like, I think on the UK scene, there's shows everywhere, isn't there?
Yeah.
Like you walk 2 minutes one way, there's a show. You walk 2 minutes the other way, there's a show. But like over there, man, like there's Denmark and Sweden where I did wrestle. There's not wrestling everywhere. And I remember there was a place called SWS, and it was in like this like nightclubby bar sitch, and like you could do the simplest thing, man, and like everyone would just go absolutely crazy. Like I remember, mate, I did a shoulder tackle, and it was like insane, like absolutely insane. Like everyone just stood up and went bonkers for it. But it's because they're not desensitized to it.
Yeah.
And not to say it's desensitized over here, because the crowds are really, really strong here. Hence why like all the Americans come over here and love it. But over there, because they've seen so little of it, it's a blast, man. And just kind of getting to see different cultures and stuff as well is really cool. Some of my favorite memories in wrestling was when I was practically living in Denmark and Sweden. It was a really fun few years, that, to be fair.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. I know I'd met on previously a guy called Alex Cavera who wrestled for a company up in Scotland called Valor. They kind of did a lot of stuff over in Scandinavia, kind of thing. And he was sort of saying like whenever he went over there, it was just like he sort of said, the fans are just sort of like just next level. It's just you feed off the energy. It's amazing. You just legitimately you can just feel it, kind of thing.
Yeah, man. And like I said, they're just so grateful for everything. They're all like, it's like one of those as well, where like the show finishes and you've got loads of fans, not like wanting to like pester you in like a weird way or anything like that. They just genuinely want to know what it's about.
Yeah.
Really cool. Really, really cool. So I'm hoping to do a bit. That's kind of something like my bucket list for this year was to kind of get back onto like a progress, which I've accomplished, which was pretty cool. I think next year is to kind of do a few more international bits, kind of branch out a little bit more in that regard.
Dude, that'd be amazing. Well, fingers crossed for you, dude, because at the end of the day as well, though, what you're doing now would resonate anywhere, kind of thing. That's another thing about, again, I always hype up the importance of having a character. I love the fact that characters are now back. You know, they went away for a few years. It wasn't cool to have a character. It's just cool to be yourself kind of thing, or, you know, just well, however you want to put it. But characters are back now. People are kind of acknowledging again and working on and seeing how important it is, because it's easier to get a reaction if you've got a character. People get more emotionally invested if you've got a character kind of thing, if people get behind it, or they can hate it or love it. And yeah, your character, mate, just like I say, it would resonate anywhere. You know, there's nowhere where that doesn't translate, you know, that kind of just attitude.
Yeah, man. Like I said, it's if I do have it's looking likely that I've got the international stuff at the end of the year. If that does happen, I'd be quite excited to kind of show it out there, because it's a place I've wrestled before as well. So that would be quite cool to kind of, because the stuff that I did prior was only the tag stuff. So to kind of show this shtick that I do now over there would be kind of cool.
I know you held Scandinavian titles as a tag team, so I won't push any more. But I'm like, ooh, yeah, okay, we'll see where that's. Like I said, they can get to see the new and improved, melancholy, chilled out, blase Scott Oberman.
Yeah,
Be
man.
a treat. So
yeah, man. Yeah, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Manifesting it.
Exactly, man. That's it. You just got to put it out there. It will manifest itself into the universe. But obviously, yeah, we'll talk about that for next year. Just kind of looking back again, you know, over this year, we've mentioned, you know, the matches with Tom, Teddy, Tony Wright, Joe Kessler as well, somebody that you kind of cross paths with a few times this year. Yeah, he's just a big boy. He seems to be sort of like a benchmark in the Northwest. So I think anytime you guys mix it up, again, it just shows at what level, you know, you are at and how well you are doing.
Yeah, man. It's another one of my favorites this year. Was me and Joe from Atomic. The thing with that one as well is, like, me and Joe, I don't think we'd ever actually had like a real good match together. I always remember kind of thinking to myself, we were chaos together. Then we had that one at Atomic this year, and the reaction to that one was really, really cool, because we were both bad guys going into it again, kind of. But we kind of got like a standing round of applause at the end, which was kind of cool. And they picked him as well to be the good guy, which I was quite happy with, because I hate being a good guy. So it was a win-win, that one. But yeah, that was another cool one for me this year. That definitely makes the list of like the cool matches I've had this year.
Well, you mentioned Progress, and obviously Progress being on the bucket list, you're getting there back in Manchester. But you know, you've had a one-on-one match with Kid Lycos this year. You know, a former Progress champion. And you're stepping in the ring, holding your own, being more than a match for, if not better than, you know, a former Progress champion.
Yeah, man. It was kind of cool because I beat a former Progress champion and then wrestled on Progress the week after, and won there too. So momentum's looking good in the winning department for that stuff. But yeah, Lycos is great. He's really, really, really good. Like, he's ridiculously good. And it'd been I'd wrestled him once in a singles match at like because I knew him from like the camps as well, when we were both like skinny kids. Me, Drew, and Ethan all knew each other pretty well. So to wrestle him was really cool as well. But the cool thing about Ethan as well is, like, I didn't realize like how good he'd got. Like he's like a next level guy. Drew's excellent as well. That's not undermining Drew either. Like, both of them have like come on so well, and they were great back then. But to kind of see where both of them are now is kind of mental. Really, really, really cool. And yeah, I put the Lycos one in the category of like favorites from this year as well. Yeah, he's the man.
Dude, I think every match, like I sort of said, that I've watched this year has just been a genuine, you know, like match of the year contender. You guys just doing what you're doing at the very peak of the abilities, kind of thing, telling stories. But I'll put it back to the promos, because obviously we've talked about them. I'm always interested, like, when I speak to people about sources of influence. You know, do you pull inspiration from? Because a lot of people kind of like don't, or a lot of people that I've spoken to, obviously I can only speak, you know, from this perspective. They don't like to sort of pull inspiration from wrestling because it's already been seen, or people will probably compare it, or they'll kind of pick up on it. So, you know, they're very reliant on films or TV or music videos, you know, just to kind of try and pull that inspiration from. Do you have any kind of like secret stashes of inspiration?
You see, like, I don't even like. No, not really. I think Ant would attest to this. a lot of the promos I just kind of do in one take, because I kind of like being genuine with it. So I just kind of spit out whatever comes from the heart in terms of what I'm feeling about that sort of thing. The only time, like if I've got like a big match, sometimes I'll listen to music when I'm thinking about the promo that I want to do, just because it'll kind of get me into like the emotional state of whatever it is that I'm talking about. So like when I've done like some of like especially like the Ridgeway ones that I've done this year, the ones for Progress and then the ones for Catch especially. I think that Catch one I did with Ant this year is probably my favorite one. But I remember kind of listening to music to kind of get myself in the zone for that sort of one. But the majority of the time, I just kind of do it, and whatever I actually feel about it just kind of comes out, or at least to some extent.
What's your go-to for music then, if you want to kind of get yourself into that headspace? Is there any sort of one band you go to, or is it just a general sort of top 5?
It depends kind of on what the kind of tone of the promo is, because like sometimes like I'll do silly promos as well. So if I'm kind of I'll listen to like something really mad and bizarre that like entertains me, probably not many other people, and I'll kind of listen to that to kind of get into the zone. If it needs to be a sad thing, it could be a wide range of different things, to be honest, mate. It could be from like, I don't know, it could be like a sad emo song, just because that's what the shtick is, I guess. Or it could be like sad music from like a TV show that I know, or something like that, or something quite emotional that kind of hits at the heartstrings a little bit.
Yeah,
Because that does kind of then allow me to get into the zone to kind of talk about what it is that I need to speak to.
Yeah, I kind of get it, because that's the thing with like the music. It's the association. Sometimes it's not so much the song. It's like, again, anybody knows me knows I'm a massive film geek kind of thing. So I associate a lot of my music through knowing it through films, or I'll hear a song, I'll associate it to a scene in a film. One of the best examples is the TV. I'm massive for Scrubs. Love Scrubs. One of my favorite
Scrubs, Delta show, mate. Fantastic show, one of my favorites.
There we go.
Yeah,
There's
I grew
that
up on Scrubs one.
Pray, How to Save a Life. I still cannot listen to that song and not shed a tear. I'm like, if it makes Dr. Cox cry, it can make me cry. So,
it's the Hallelujah scene.
Yeah.
For all three of the patients there, that's another one I associate with Scrubs, and I know exactly what you're getting at.
Yeah. But yeah, it's Pray, How to Save a Life. Yeah, but everybody's just dying off, and Dr. Cox is losing his shit. He just sort of smashes stuff up. Mate, I literally just start bawling. I'm just like, so good. But again, normally not a massive fan of the song, but via association, mate, if that comes on, my mindset just changes. It's like, fuck.
Yeah, man. And that's the sort of stuff that I do kind of do on occasion. I don't do it all the time. I just kind of do like the impactful ones where I need to kind of get into that, because like again, like other times I do kind of like being myself a little bit, because that's kind of to an extent what the character is. So it's only kind of when the occasion calls for it, really.
That's it. I mean, keeping it as much as we're sort of saying as a character, it's a character, but it's a character that you embody, kind of thing. So
yeah,
that's the thing as well. There's two kinds of characters in wrestling. You got that totally out there, that's totally nothing like you kind of thing, or as the saying goes, it's you turned up to 11, but it's still a character.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of me genuinely, like the person like my partner sees at home, cranked up, but then kind of honing in on like different bits as well. So like the stuff that I talk about like with hardship and stuff, and like my promos and stuff, like I genuinely have kind of been through turbulent times quite a bit in my life. So I can hone in on that as well, and then kind of pull that in, and that's where like the anger and the sad part comes in. But then like kind of the goofy side of it and the blasé kind of side of it is kind of me and like my daily life as well. So I kind of meld it all together, and that's how the shtick kind of comes to be, really.
It fits. It's obviously, it's working, because, like you sort of said, these last couple of years, mate. This last year, we've talked about the matches that you've had this year, and you're sort of saying, yeah, that's probably one of my favorites. Probably one of my favorites. Probably one of my favorites. And it's just onwards and upwards, mate. It's just been this year. Like I say, it's mind blowing just how much you've done, how busy you've been in this last 12 months, and mate, I hate to say it, but I think you're only going to get busier. And,
it feels that way, mate. It definitely feels never ending, but it's not a bad thing.
I was going to say it's not a bad
make
thing.
hay while the sun shines in it, so
exactly.
I have no intention to slow it down with it. And fingers crossed, there'll be the promo goal next year as well.
Well, if you hit 50 this year, are you looking to double that next year?
Yeah, I've got to hit 500 next year, mate. That's the goal.
Great. Massive shout out to you. Mentioned his name a few times as well. I want to shout out Ants. It always does
I owe that dude so much. I owe absolutely tons. Just because not only is he like a top human being, because he really, really is. Not only is he like probably like one of the hardest workers I've ever met, because he really is, but also as well, him kind of giving me his platform and kind of being there to bounce off of stuff as well. He's been really, really important to like Scott Oberman and me personally as well. So yeah, I owe a lot to Ant, and I think he's one of those people that like you won't hear a single person say a bad thing about. He's pretty much like universally everyone will say he's a top fella, which I think also is probably even the more powerful thing about him as well. So yeah, more than just flowers to Ant. He's a top guy, really top guy.
We acknowledge and appreciate Ant. There you go.
We absolutely do.
But I think you know what, we'll let Ant have the final. We'll have the final word on this one. We'll leave it with the love of Ant.
Finale.
Yeah, that's it. We'll give him his flowers. We could be like, you know what, we've talked about Scott for like an hour. Last few minutes.
Let's give credit to the actual man.
Sure. We're partner in crime, we'll call him. One half of the dynamic.
Yeah, he's the captain of the ship, to be honest, mate. I owe him alone.
But dude, thank you so much for coming along and chatting. Mate, it's been absolutely awesome. Do you want to let people know where they can find you on the socials?
Yeah, I'm the Scott Oberman, I think. On Instagram and Twitter. I'm not very good at Twitter. I just kind of do stuff to make myself laugh on that one. But I do very much like Instagram. So I'd recommend you at least follow me on Instagram because I quite like Instagram. But yeah, Twitter's just kind of a bit of a mess, isn't it?
Yeah, I post my stuff and get off. I use it, but I'm using it less and less now because I keep getting locked out of it from copyright issues or something. So I don't know what's going on with that.
It sounds like Twitter nowadays, mate. It's
yeah,
an absolute hellhole.
But Instagram, it's visual, it's awesome. People can watch.
We love Instagram.
Go in, they can see what you're going to be doing. Yeah, I love the reels, I love the stories. Like I say, it's just visual. I'm a visual kind of guy, so it suits me down to the ground. But yeah, if you're not following Scott on Instagram, you probably are. I'd be very surprised if you're not and watching this. But if you're not, sort it out. Click that follow button. It's up to. If he's on a show near you, go watch it. Go buy a ticket. Show some support. Any merch out at the minute or coming out?
No, I was having shirts made, and then I kind of ran into issues with them, just in terms of like the quality of them. So I'm getting that sorted. Hopefully in the next few weeks, I'm hoping to drop that in the new year. And then also as well, Fast Count have made a really cool design that I'll be turning into pins soon as well. So yeah, stay tuned for both of them very soon.
Oh, there you go. Sponsors of the show, Fast Count. Get name dropped in there. So there you go. I couldn't have asked for a better plug. But yeah, just keep your eyes peeled. When you see them, buy them. And always, I will say thank you for watching. Keep your eyes peeled. We've got some more guest announcements coming up. We've got Billy O'Keefe coming up. We've got Riley Nova coming up. We've got numerous other people as well. So I will say thank you for watching. Hit like, subscribe, share, comment, all the generic stuff we ask you to do. And yeah, we'll see you again very soon. And remember, always work the left side. Goodbye.